it's something about table reads that is just, it terrifies me. You really are looking for that timing and the commitment from the actor. If they know the character, if they are checked in with each other. That's like one of the biggest things. If they understand where the joke lives. A lot of times they don't. Sometimes they bypass the period. That means something. The periods are important, y'all. Just know that. If there's a period, don't bypass it. It's an important thing. That's what I'm looking for.
I like to start every conversation on my podcast the same way, which is like a little bit of like your origin story. So could you tell us a little bit about what drew you to the arts, and then also some of the influential mentors or opportunities that shaped your creative process? And Kabir and I are going to just...
You going to go?
I was going to say, I think you look like you were going to go first.
Yeah,
you definitely look like...
Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah, do it.
You should have jumped into this, but you
Come
didn't.
on.
I'm going for... I'm anchoring, so I'm
Yeah,
first here.
go ahead.
I come from Chicago. My background, I was a basketball player back in the day. The dream was the WNBA, but I always had an interest in behind-the-scenes filmmaking, cameras, and all that stuff. And I wound up seeing the making of Back to the Future 2 in 7th grade, and something just stuck. I don't know what it was, the green screen with the fake hoverboard, it just stuck in me. So when push came to shove, when I was at my undergrad, I played basketball in college, and then I decided I'm going to pursue filmmaking and television. So I took a year off, went to grad school, and got my break with my mentor, who is one of my main, I would say, the person that helped shape me comedically and open my eyes to comedy directing, Lee Shallett-Schemmel. And I've been, yay Lee. And in that time, I have directed primarily comedies, and that's kind of my background, really. So I lean on my sports background and my directing and kind of combine the two, and that's my approach.
That was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how I can do that.
Did you ever see the making of Back to the Future 1?
No, it was specifically 2, which was which is one of my favorite movies. So I think it was the flying DeLorean and the hoverboard, like the dream of having this in 2016, but that never happened. I'm still waiting for the flying DeLorean. So I think we were waiting for a while, but also the shoes, the Air Mags.
Yeah.
The Air Mags were my jam, so still want a pair of those.
That's what's up.
That's, yeah. I think 2 is better, than 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
3. I didn't even know there was a 3. Come on.
You didn't know there was a 3?
Come on.
What do you think? At the end of 2, Marty is stuck there in 1955.
That was not enough of a spoiler.
Clearly, you've seen it.
It's been a while.
Okay.
You should watch it. We all just met. I don't know.
Yeah. We don't know each other, but
No,
we do
really
now.
don't. I'm from Philly. Sorry, I'll answer your question.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm from Philly, which is, Fly Eagles Fly. We've been talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Let's go.
Hopefully by the time this is on YouTube, they will have won.
Nobody wants Kansas City to win.
True.
They don't.
Look. Wait.
No.
One.
That's good. That's good. Yep.
I respect the passion. I don't like it, but I respect it. I was a theater kid growing up, back in the day, and could be a very long story. I'll keep it short because I know we have other stuff to talk about. That sort of led me down my path to going to film school, and then moving here with the dream of working. And then I got here and I didn't have a job for 3 months and was sleeping on a mattress on the floor, shared with a friend in the corner of a sublet in Westwood, for months with no work.
The corner feels like the saddest part of it.
Yeah. There's a sadder part to it, which is that the mattress, somebody found it on the street.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a movie.
It wasn't me, but we didn't have anywhere else to sleep. Things are going better now. Yeah.
Look at you now.
Long game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I won an Emmy 20 years later, and I direct TV and comedies.
Wow.
Hey, woo.
That's a story.
I left out the whole middle.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's
But
like
the end-
skipping Back to the Future
I know.
2. Which you would never have done.
I'm Kelly Park, guys. I'm from Philly, just like you. Well, you're Philly adjacent, sort of.
You're from Germantown.
I know, but you're from like Upper Marion?
Lower Marion.
Lower Marion?
It's right next, yeah.
I don't even know where that is. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm from Philly proper.
Yeah.
And
How dare you?
My mother was my greatest inspiration. She was an actress, and she did Playhouse in the Park. I was always inspired, always doing comedy. Long story short, met my husband, moved to L.A. With my husband and my 5-year-old kid, and decided to become a server at the Hollywood Improv. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I a server? I want to be an actor or a director or something. And lived that life, met so many wonderful people. And it was important to my growth. It was so very, very important, that part of my life. Long story short, my daughter became an actor. She was known as Sid the Kid. She was like the youngest stand-up comic at the Hollywood Improv. She went on to do Nickelodeon stuff. Nickelodeon called me. They were like, can you be an acting coach for us at Nickelodeon? I was like, yeah. Are there benefits? I just want to know if are y'all paying people? Because, yeah, I need some health insurance. So took that job, became an acting coach for Nick, Disney, and I said, there's something else in my life that's missing. My husband's like, you're a director. I'm like, they're not going to let me direct nothing? Come on. And life went on. I asked Nickelodeon, Netflix, Alexa and Katie, and they were like, yes, you should be directing. That's the segue, and that's what it is. And I've been doing it ever since. And this is just an honor to be here with you guys, and thank you for this.
That sounded, that you asked them and they said that sort of sounded kind of easy.
Yeah, well, it kind of was. I just literally asked. You have to open your mouth.
Oh, I asked everybody.
Did you?
Yeah. It took me 20 years to get to
Really?
full-time directing, yeah.
Well, I think what it was for me was that, I'm not saying you didn't.
No.
I'm just saying, but I showed up every day and I did the thing. And
I didn't do that.
Okay, I know.
No, I did.
Yeah. I watched people. I did I shadowed and I did the thing. And
I did those things.
You did that? Maybe I asked the right person.
That's the key.
You didn't ask.
You asked them. I asked many of
You
the wrong
did?
people.
That's
I
what it
asked
was.
So many of the wrong people.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
You live and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I say this all the time, right? You gotta be good. You gotta
Yes.
have talent, right?
Yes.
You gotta know the right people.
Yes.
Or they gotta know you, and you have to
Yes.
get lucky.
Okay, Lower Marion. That's
You
what's
have
up.
to listen. You know what I mean? I was talking about our strategy for the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right.
Where you and I are on the same team.
Yes.
Yeah. But knowing the right people makes a huge difference. I mean,
Huge
Oh,
difference.
yes,
getting started
absolutely.
for sure.
That's right.
I mean, and it's interesting because everybody's origin story and how they got to where they were is different. Your avenue, my
Yeah.
avenue. It's, being shadowed
Yes.
or shadowing people and being mentored is such a huge thing. I'm very much an advocate for that because I'm a product of that. But
Yes.
it was a 4.5-year mentorship for me with Lee, which was a blessing because I
Yeah.
was able to go from show to show with her and see and meet people, and networking is all a part of that. And if I didn't do that and have that opportunity, I don't think I would have gotten that first job.
Right.
And part of it also is connecting with those people who Raising Hope was my break, and the showrunner at that time was Mike Mariano. He's a huge hockey fan, so am I. And even though my Hawks are in the toilet right now, that's okay. We'll come back. But and I think it's that commonality and things that you vibe on with people and that they trust and they see something and it sparks something. And that's where I think my opportunity came. And
Right.
it seems like with you asking and you were, adamant about it, and it sometimes takes people a little bit longer, like in your case, but ultimately, like getting there, right? No disrespect.
I feel like that was necessary.
No disrespect. I didn't mean that.
No, it's fine.
But just everybody's journey, it just takes a little time to get there, but we're all in that position. So
That's right.
That's why I love this question, and y'all are like a blast. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be real fun. So something
I didn't say anything.
y'all can't tell, but he is like looking into souls up here. Okay, so something I love about episodic directors is it's much like the guest cast. It's a co-star and guest star space. You're coming into other people's sandbox. You're getting to play in a show that is created. And I'm curious for each of you how you get to know your producing director, your showrunners, your writers, your series regulars, how you bring yourself and your creativity to the show, but also honor what they've already built.
That's a really good question. Well, my grandmother always told me, whatever you do in your life, like she always related things to trees, which was wonderful, right? She was like, you're not there to like plant the whole tree or make sure that the tree grows completely, but put your leaves on the tree, right? So I always, first of all, bring myself. I bring my energy. I bring my personality. I love comedy completely. It's my life. But before I start anything, so I'm in The Neighborhood right now. You guys know The Neighborhood on CBS? And it's great. Cedric and Tashina, and I mean, it's just, it's wild and wonderful. And I've been there many times before. But each time is a different thing for me, because you want to also enhance, you know, what the writers have written and what the network is looking for. You want to also keep the tone. So I'm all about just collaborating and talking, and I reach out to the executive producers and definitely Cedric, and I ask them. I'm just really, that's my whole thing, asking, ain't it? It just came back to that.
You just literally asked us if that was your thing.
I just, you know, have a conversation with them about what they want from the episode and what they're looking for, and we collaborate sincerely. I'm working with Garrett Morris right now, guys. He's 80-something years old. He's brilliant, and he's tender and soft, and he still has that thing. And he came up to me and he was like, I might be old, but you got to enhance me. I want you to give me something I haven't, you know, gotten before. So that's always a joy and a wonderfulness. Mary Lee Hender's on it too, and Kevin Pollak, which is, I mean, this is a dream. Anyway, whatever. But I collaborate with people. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're looking at me in my soul.
No,
What?
I was just saying, I was enjoying what you were saying.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
Say something.
I literally just did.
Okay, but you say something about you.
Oh, yeah, about me. I like that.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's hard. I mean, I think it's probably like showing up as a co-star also. Like you're showing up in someone else's house, right? And they're asking you to make dinner for them.
Yeah.
Which is hard because, you know, you don't know where the plates are necessarily. You got to figure this out quickly. Like, where is all this stuff? What do you like to eat? No, there's none of that, right? You were like in and out real fast.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it just is some flexibility on being able to just jam with people, you know, and just you remembered that you are there. They wanted you there because you're you, right? Because you have your perspective. It's like getting cast in something. You're there because what you did got you there. So you got to stick with that, you know, and just work with that, right?
Yeah.
That's the end of my story.
Okay.
I'm gonna echo what these guys said already, but I enjoy going to set. If I'm prepping or if I can go like in an episode before mine, I like to go to set and just kind of hang out, see what the vibe is, get to know people before getting into the hot seat. And the thing is you can break the ice. You can see how the crew operates. You can see how the actors operate on set. You get to know the executive producers, writers, and so on. And you kind of get a vibe and a feel for how things go. And it automatically breaks ice. So when you go to set for the first time for your episode on that particular show, the ice is already broken. It's like, I've been here before. They've seen me. And I think that's part of it, is like showing up and being there ahead of time makes it look like, oh, this person cares. They want to know how our set runs, because those guys are there every day. We rotate in and out, you know, and sometimes we're lucky and we stay on a show multiple times. But the thing is you make the effort, and that is apparent to people that are there every single day. But it also helps knowing how the DP talks with that director that's working on that episode that particular week. And it's interesting from that standpoint, because it's like you're going to bring what you bring to the table, or what you bring, what I bring. Everybody has a different way of working, but that's what's kind of cool. You bring your personality, bring your vibe, and the collaboration is key, because that's what this whole business circulates around, is the collaboration.
That's great. And, you
That's
know,
good.
I said it was great.
Okay. All right.
I like what he said.
Say the competition. We're collaborating over
Here
here.
we go. Oh, now we're
Yeah, there we go.
You know, I mean, completely. You definitely want to show up, and I don't know how much you get an opportunity to do this. You know, when you're, day playing or co-starring in something, to be there ahead of time. Do you know what I mean? But absolutely, you don't want to meet the crew or the cast from our position Monday morning at 7 and be like, hi, I'm Kabir. So for this scene, I'm thinking, like, you know, you want to hang out for a while first, for sure.
But with that, what you said about, you know, if you can, even as far as an acting standpoint goes, you're going to the show, you don't have that ability to maybe meet those people. You do your homework beforehand. Watch that show if it's an established show, if it's been on a couple episodes, whatever you can see, to see what the actors are, who the actors are, what they're playing, because that will also help you, even if you're guest starring or a small role just for that particular episode, and it might be turning into something more. But that's another way for them to break the ice and educate yourself, so you do your homework and you're ready and prepared.
That's right.
Yeah. The best advice I think I ever got on this avenue was was about directing your first episode of television that you get. But I think this also applies to like, performing in something when it's your first sort of big thing, that you spend all these years of like training and networking and going to things like this and trying to talk to people and like banging your head against the wall, and then you finally get there and it looks like it's going to happen, and then it does happen, and you're so excited and you're so prepared and you've gone over the script and you've watched all the episodes, and for every fucking buddy else there, it's just Monday.
Yep. It's not a big deal, right?
True.
Only in your world.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Right.
Well, going off of that, because we as actors can relate to being in the vacuum, I'm curious what your process, how you've had to evolve over the last several years, and how you have gotten to know your actors during the approval process.
Are we getting played off?
Yeah, that was
the
the
music?
that was the end. That was the end. Y'all gave great advice. Sports, go Eagles. Take two. So could you talk a little bit about the process that you all have had to evolve through and get used to getting to know your actors in the co-star, guest star space in self-tapes? Because the process for the director has changed a lot over the last few years.
It's such a drag. It really is. Like, in person is so much better. I'll give you an example that hopefully you all find horrifying, because I found it horrifying. Is I actually
Don't
no
take it
for
too
real?
dark.
No, it's horrifying. Is that I had a friend who's an actor who had been in a lot of stuff, who I had come in and read for a part on an episode I was directing a couple of years ago, and I was like, here, we should go with this person. And the way this works in Episodic is like, they ask your opinion, and then depending on how collaborative the process is, everyone will get together, or they'll sort of ask your opinion and then disregard it. In this case, we talked about it, and the producers felt like her read of this thing was kind of too smiley. And I was like, oh, well, I'm sure we could
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy.
note that out. Yeah.
Don't smile.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right. They elected to not go with her.
Just because of that?
It's worse. And then, so you seem horrified now.
I'm horrified.
Oh, good. It
Yeah.
gets worse.
Okay.
Is that, what we had on the self-tape casting viewing website was one take of hers. But she had done multiples.
Oh.
But the casting director had sent us one. And so we had one. And yeah, now you're horrified.
I'm so horrified.
And how fucked is this? Because like if we're in the room, be like,
Right.
hey,
Try it this way. You're right.
yeah. What if you weren't smiling so much? What if you were like, this wasn't as happy a thing? What if you were like downtrodden? What if you'd had a bad day? What if your cat was in the blender? Like whatever the fuck.
And have you noticed that you have to like?
See, it stimulates an emotion, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Don't do that with him. Yeah. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that you've had to fight? Like, have you had that fight with casting? Have you had that?
Yeah.
Have you been in that situation where you had to
it's
like?
hard. It's hard because it's like
You
you
had to
feel
justify.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel something.
Yes.
And as a director, I mean, all of us can vouch for it, I'm
Right.
sure, is you feel something, and you feel it more in the room than on the Zoom.
Right.
And I mean, I wish we could go back to that. It's just easier, I know, with the self-taping, but it's hard when you can give a note in casting.
Right.
Like you yourself can give a note, the director, not the casting director.
Right.
And you can see the range, and then you have something to argue. Like we go, oh, I really like this person because I
Yes.
saw this to this. And executive producers and showrunners, they see things and can understand some things from that capacity. But if you know that you can get them there,
Right.
Because you saw it and felt something,
Right.
That to me says something. But that's not always the way it goes.
And a lot of times shows don't ask you in.
Yes.
See, that's a big thing too. They want. I've had to ask again. There I
Yes.
am.
Well,
Did you see it? That was my Shirley Ralph moment. I had to ask. Yes.
Do it
You see
again. It was
I had to
good.
ask.
It was good.
Wasn't that Shirley? That was her. It was. Don't play. It was.
No, I'm
Okay.
Yeah,
But I've literally had to like. I would love to be a part of this process
yeah.
because it's important for. I mean, this is like high comedy right now. Like
Right. I know the DJ is trying to do more to involve us, which I think is important for actors
I
as
didn't
well
know
as
that.
directors.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah, we had a whole big thing in
Yeah.
creative rights.
and
we
I
can talk
and I
about it.
feel like
What?
there's some shows that I've been on where
Big win.
it's like they don't even ask you to come in the room. They just say, "Well, this is who we picked."
Right.
I mean, I was on a show and it was just like I showed up and it was like, "Wait, I'm like, I didn't know so-and-so was on this. I'm
Right.
like, this is great. I'm like, I'm a fan. This is awesome. I didn't know they auditioned.
Right.
And it's like, it's unfortunate because it's like,
So
why was I
unfortunate.
left out of that conversation? Because it's only beneficial to everybody.
Yes.
You know, so that is a, conversation that the Guild's having with shows to make
That's
sure that we
great.
are involved.
Yeah.
And again, it's good for everybody when that happens.
It's like they ordered your lunch for you.
Yeah.
Which is a
it's
huge
like,
no-no.
She'll have.
I don't
Like,
eat
no, you
pork
will
at
not
all,
order
but
for
it's
me.
okay. I'm gonna eat it today.
Yeah, no, it was actually a big win in the DGA's creative rights thing last time around that they have to, the timing of all the notes and the suggestions is all like aligned.
That's great.
now between everybody and
Yeah,
everything.
it
But
is
even
great.
like an episode I did, I don't know, 2 years ago of a show where the stage directions were talking about someone walks in and is acting a certain way. I don't know, it was sort of big and over the top. The way it was. I can't remember what it said. And so we had a few people in Read who have been in a lot of things. People who I've worked with, people who the producing director had worked with, people who the showrunners had worked with. And all the reads came in sort of big and over the top, as you would expect. And then the feeling was that they're like, well, these are sort of big and over the top.
Well, I mean,
I wonder why.
yeah.
And we were like, well, yeah. I also, this is like, my first day on. I'm like, I've just gotten the script. I'm like, well, that's what it said. I'm like, well, we think it's not the right thing. Like, okay, well, we all know these people. We think this is the right guy for it. You know what I mean? And there was a feeling that, I don't know if it was a showrunner level or a studio level or network. I don't know. But there was a feeling that, well, this other one didn't do it that way. So let's just go here.
How interesting.
So, like, you think about all the times that you have been up for a thing and have not gotten it. It is 99% not that you weren't good at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, we're looking for someone who's wearing it says in the stage directions, it's like, wearing a green shirt and a white jacket.
Or her eye did a weird thing when she blinked.
What if it was someone? Yeah, exactly.
She freaking blinked,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It's hardcore.
All right, so going off of that and staying on auditions for a minute, having such a deep understanding of actors, working with them on set, is there any advice for us to become better self-directors when we are auditioning, when we're doing our self-tapes?
That is a good question.
What do you think?
Tell us your opinion.
Honey, I got the questions. Y'all got to have the answers.
I think that you really got to listen to your gut ultimately at the end of the day, because take your take, know what you want to accomplish in that moment, in that scene that you're self-taping, but be prepared also, I would say, to have variations. I
Choices,
really
yeah.
choices. I love when I'm in an audition or even in a scene and it's like, great, you did that, let's go the other direction, so that we could see like the scope, and then we have choices at the end of the day for editing, and because maybe we're married to something on that day, and then in editing it's like, it doesn't work when you cut the scene together, so let's see what other takes there are, and you have these other amazing choices that if you just stick to one thing and one thing alone, it doesn't help ultimately, and it doesn't showcase you well. So I would say, go with your gut, with your first instinct on what you want to play, but then have the ability to change it one direction or a little bit the other way, just to show flexibility that you're not married to that number one, but you also have range.
Almost as though a director is directing you.
Exactly.
You're your own
without
director.
without a director being there.
Correct.
So there you are.
There you go.
Self-directing. That was the question.
That was it.
Yeah. Have a point of view.
Yes.
Have a point of view. Boy, do something that is not the thing that everybody else is doing. Do what the thing is that you think is right. You know what I mean?
And be brave.
Yeah. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I'm not saying
brave.
it's easy. That's why none of us do that. Because this as a career is hard, and that is much harder.
Yes. Much
Like-
harder. We have mad respect.
Yeah, I don't understand how you.
I couldn't do it. I did like a background crossing one time, and I was a mess. I was like, my first
walk
AD was
in like
like,
this.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't have any lines.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
getting up and you're crossing it in your own scene that you direct. What you get?
Yeah.
It's a lot. So kudos.
Honestly,
Mad
some of
love.
those crosses are hard. I grew up in the dance
Man.
world, and sometimes I see how they're like,
Yeah.
you go past this person and this waiter, and it's like, okay, that's like really choreographed.
Y'all got that. Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh. All right. This is just too fun to interrupt. Okay. What about advice for finding the musicality of comedy?
Because it is a dance.
It is, and
It's a rhythm.
And
It's
there's
a
different
thing.
songs, there's different beats, and sometimes
Sometimes silence is golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just know that.
And some
There-
people,
there's
I will say,
look.
I'll say a really controversial thing.
Here we
'Cause
go.
here we go.
Okay. It's Lower Merion.
haven't
speak right
done that.
now.
I don't. I mean, listen. It was. It
Lower
was.
Merion.
It was. It's a, I
Go
didn't really
ahead.
enjoy my time there. It was like, I was there right before Kobe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
very, it was yeah.
Yeah.
It was very. It was not a great.
It was boring.
It was no.
Go.
It was a very racist school actually. But
Very.
yeah. That's not the controversial thing.
moving right along.
I was just.
I'm
I was
just-
gonna answer the question.
Listen,
And next.
we're friends.
Yeah. Now.
So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. How's it going over here? I think. Anyway, maybe this is controversial. I hope it's not. But I think there are a lot of people who are not that good at it.
Yes.
It's just what I think. It's just what I think. I think some people, for whatever reason, and I don't just mean like actors. I mean, I think this goes across the board in a lot of ways for comedy. I was an editor for a very long time on my way to directing. That was my path. I left it out of the story. I don't know why. I felt time pressure.
It's big.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Big chunk.
Yeah, it was like 20 years of doing that while also directing.
20 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I was directing bits on the way, and then eventually it sort of.
You should have said that.
I should.
You should have led with that.
I should
lead
yeah.
with that next
I don't
time.
like leading with it all the time.
Well, as a director, I'm telling you.
Yeah. But see, as an editor, I also feel
Part
like.
of your origin
I ain't
story.
asking no more.
Yeah.
She directed.
You got it. Yeah, that was for you.
I deserve that.
Go.
You see it in editing and the timing of things. You know, I used to cut pilots. My first scripted pilot I cut was, I don't know, a very long time ago. And I was very proud of it. It was a chance I got in the first, very proud of it. I watch it now. I watch all my early work as an editor and as a director doing short comedy for like cable and stuff. And I'm like, I see just all the flaws in it, you know, just from inexperience and lack of practice. And you just get more practice. The more practice you get at something, the better you do. But I could also see that like I had a sense of the rhythm, but I was kind of had a lot of the technical stuff wrong, the details, the precision of it wrong. But also worked with a lot of people who were doing it next to me, who were cutting other things, you know, or scoring, doing music, and some people just do not really have that song in their heart.
And some people don't know how to give and take in scenes. They don't understand that it's not just about you. It's about this other person, and you have to listen, and you have to communicate, sometimes not with your words, but with your body.
Like this panel.
Yeah. We got rhythm up here, though.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Oh,
We do.
We're a comedy trio up here.
that's what we're doing.
Come on.
One night only.
Come on. See that? We showed them. We just did. This is it. Right here.
Are there more questions?
Yes.
Okay, what have you all?
Sorry, did you want to answer that one?
Trying to think of something else I can add to the table here. I mean, it's interesting because you know, comedy is so. It could be so small and minute, and then it could be the complete opposite direction where it's so over the top and exaggerated. But what is necessary, and I think you know, it's such a delicate task to try to accomplish that. And you know, when you go from show to show, it ranges on what that comedy is. I mean, it could be. I mean, I did episodes of The Middle, and Neil Flynn is like he was very stoic in his performances, but he wasn't supposed to be just haha funny. But it was the writing that put him in circumstances that ultimately made him funny. But then you go to multicam shows, and you can expand on that and do more slapstick stuff because that's what you know. They want to see that for the reaction to the audience. But every show is so different. So you can go from a subtle comedic, you know, just the tiniest of, you know, eyebrow lift at the perfect moment, and it's comedic genius. And there was one episode that I did of American Housewife. It was a Halloween episode, and Julie Meyer was she was guest starring in it, and she was supposed to play this. I don't know if who've seen the show or not, but Chloe Brown Mueller is this, you know, awful person in Westport, and Katie's nemesis, and Chloe opens up this boutique little trinket shop, and Maria is her assistant, and she treats her horribly. And Julie came in and read for the role. She got the role, and there was this moment when Diedrich Bader destroys the shop. He goes all Frankenstein in there. He's dressed up as Frankenstein. He gets makeup in his eye from sweat, and it's like fire, 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 and this whole store is destroyed. There's, you know, the glass is everywhere, the trinkets are everywhere, and at the end of the scene, it was scripted that Maria goes to the last remaining trinket and pushes it off of the shelf. And And there was a moment where it was like, this could go real big or it could be landed just perfectly. And she did it, and it was so effectively funny that it was just enough, and it wasn't much more than just a little push and a smirk. It ended the scene, which could have easily been cut out if it was over the top by somebody. And she wound up getting a reoccurring role on the show to the end of the series. And it was an amazing story, and that's simplistic, because I remember talking with her during that scene. It was like, keep it simple and keep it subtle. And that was just enough to make Video Village go nuts.
And we trusted her instinct.
She trusted her instinct.
That's right.
And it
That's
was
big.
perfect, and she wound up coming back again and again and again, and she was written in, and it was fantastic. It was just those little moments. So just a little example how you can go from like a small moment to, huge moment.
It's funny. You reminded me of. So I directed a lot of a show called Never Have I Ever.
Yes, I love that show.
And in season 1, I had an episode where there's one of the kids in the school, played by this actor Jack Seaver, who's he had like one line at the beginning of the scene and one at the end, and that was it for him in the episode.
Yeah.
He was just cast for this, and he. Get around to his coverage, and he for his last line he just starts ad-libbing, and it's fucking great. I mean, it's shockingly good.
He's just riffing and doing it.
Just going for it. Had done the prep work, understood the scene, and
you
like
got everything in the can though before that.
he just went for it, and it was so fun. I mean, everyone was like the crew's in tears. Take after take after take were just gold, and they just started writing him in more and more. And he kept coming back more and more. Got a storyline over the course of the season. Same deal, but like it could have been terrible for sure. I mean, like I think we've been in situations where there have been cast who've ad-libbed and it's not good, and it's like, fine, we just won't use that.
Right.
But like if you feel it,
That's golden,
I
though.
think if you feel it, bring it, because then maybe you become like purring.
Trust your instinct. If you feel that,
Yeah.
you have confidence, and you were confident in that.
Yeah.
So sometimes actors can stumble in the co-star space because they want to prove that they can act. Any advice for how to create a three-dimensional character that still is of service and moves the story forward?
What are you looking at me for?
Well, I didn't.
Your turn to have him look in your
I'm always going first
I-
over here. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Kelly.
That's a really deep question.
It is. I'm trying to think of an example where that's happened. I feel like maybe that would be a good way to kind of entree into.
Oh yeah, that's kind of good.
Kind of like what you were just saying. Kicked off an example in my.
Go on
You're right.
Go on to the next question, and then
yeah.
let's think about it.
Pass.
We're gonna marinate.
We'll loop back to that
We
at the
family
end of
up in here, we
January.
marinating. That's all.
Yeah.
Got to think about stuff.
It's like
All
on
right.
Pyramid
Came
when you
from
can
work,
pass,
that's
skip this
all.
question, and go to the next. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Consider passed. All right. So table read.
How many can we pass on? No, we're
I
trying.
mean, you're
We are,
blazing a
right?
trail
We
at
go.
this point. I didn't know that was actually an option. I thought you had to answer these.
You know what?
Think of something.
It's fine.
We will.
Okay,
I'm
so
already thinking.
Yeah. We're just buying time while we're thinking.
Marinate.
we're tap
stuff.
dancing
Yeah.
up here. It's great. It's great.
Yep.
Okay, so sitcom table reads.
Yes.
There is such a special energy in that room. Even on Zoom, it's
I'm gonna
still
answer
special.
this.
Okay.
It's me.
Okay, we got an answer for this
It's
one.
gonna be me.
As a director, what are you looking for, hoping to hear and see in that table read?
Well, first of all, the sitcom table read is different. You are, as the director, you were also performing this. You were also a part of the process. So when I did single camera stuff, I'm sitting there, I'm watching. I'm like, I don't have to do the, I don't got to do the table read. I can sit back and watch this. This is amazing. So you have all your senses on. So you are performing it. You are helping to push the story along. You're bringing your thing. But what you want to hear is that timing again. You want to feel that energy from these actors. You don't want to feel the lulls because you see those writers writing down stuff and they're changing jokes, they're changing stuff. So you want to make sure that everybody's on board with each other, that they are checked in with each other. That's the biggest thing. And you can feel it. When it falls apart, you're like, oh, this ain't.
Yeah.
This is
And those jokes get cut before the next draft.
or the people get cut. I mean, it's
that
really
happen.
serious. So you really have to prepare for table reads. That's like one of my biggest fear is table reads. I don't know why. It's something about table reads that is just, it terrifies me, man. And I've directed some incredible, huge actors, and I'm afraid of table reads. I'm like, what am I doing?
What are you worried is going to happen?
That I might say something wrong, or that I might say something, I might go through the stage directions and the actor will jump the stage direction. It's like one of the biggest things.
You end up reading them at all yours.
Sometimes.
I don't like
don't.
I don't like reading them at all.
Well, it depends. It depends. So you don't talk to your actors first about what you're going to read, what you're not going to read.
That's true. You're kind of just in it.
So you're just kind of in it and you're winging it, so you have to really listen.
Yep.
There are things that you have to say that are important and imperative to the story.
Sure.
Now, I just did a table read, and some of the actors who are seasoned, like Cedric and Max Greenfield, won't say half the stuff I'm about to say. So I have to be on my P's and Q's to make sure that I do it right. But anyway, it's not about me. So listen, it's you really are looking for that timing and the commitment from the actor. If they know the character, if they are checked in with each other. That's like one of the biggest things. If they understand where the joke lives. A lot of times they don't. Sometimes they bypass the period. That means something. The periods are important, y'all. Just know that. If there's a period, don't bypass it. It's an important thing. That's what I'm looking for when I'm doing table reads.
I would say two ththings. One is, if you were talking about, be familiar with the show. Do your homework ahead of time.
Yeah.
I don't like reading stage directions if I can avoid it because, I don't want to step on someone. I'd rather just be watching. This is your first chance to get a look at what all the performers.
Have you done sitcom? You never multicam?
Like multicam? No,
Yeah.
no.
So you will be doing the stage directions when you do it.
No.
You will be.
Yeah, but I'm.
I'm just telling you.
No, but I don't do that.
Yeah, but you will do it.
No, but I don't do that.
But you gonna do it?
No, I'm not really trying to do that.
Do you want to do it?
No.
So you don't want to do multicam?
No, I don't do it at all.
You don't want to?
No, and I don't.
You don't want to come see me do it?
No, I mean I'll come down to your. Yeah, come watch. Yeah.
Do you want to though?
Well, that's a different question.
Go ahead with your story.
That's like
I'm
I
trying
said.
to give you a job. I'm just.
Then yeah.
Elliot's
absolutely.
asking for
So
you.
do the stage
Oh yeah.
directions.
I love directing multicam.
Okay.
Kelly asking for him.
Yeah, Clee. You know what I mean? What was I talking about? Right. So do the research ahead of time. Part of the reason I don't like reading them, I think about a mistake I made, and it's like, a lot of times you make these little mistakes in front of a lot of people, and like nobody remembers them but you.
Well, that's the fear. That's what I'm talking
But I
about.
was reading the stage directions, and I had not, for whatever reason, I was directing an episode that was very late in the season. Do you know what I mean? So if you're showing up and doing like number 14, it means you have to have read or watched. The first 13 aren't around to watch, right? So you can't watch them all. There's a lot to read, and I don't know, whatever. I hadn't missed the last one.
What did you do?
I was just reading a thing, and there was like an abbreviation in it, and there was like, so and so turns and talks, and so-and-so turns and points to Eli. Yeah, Eli was a character introduced in the previous episode.
You said ELI?
I said Eli.
You did?
I sure did.
Did it read like there was periods?
No, it was just all caps, and I was like, CIA. You don't put caps at period. I don't. Listen. The point is, don't do that.
Were you embarrassed?
Yeah, I still am. It's been like 6 years.
You
I'm
shared
still
your
embarrassed.
pain, though. You shared it.
That's-
This is
yeah,
part of his
that's
healing
what's up.
journey.
Yeah, the whole
Therapeutic. It's therapeutic.
That's what's up.
vulnerability is the essence of all this.
You will do it at multicam, though. I'm telling you.
What? Say spell it wrong?
No,
Oh.
you will do all the stage directions.
I'm free next month. The other thing, this is like such a big, especially if you're showing up in a co-star situation. A lot of times they will not write as many jokes for you because they are not planning on leaning on you for that. But sometimes they do. And you can turn a line into something and show something, but man, say the line cleanly. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, do not stumble over the line. That's it's a thing. It happens. We say dumb shit sometimes.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Right? But say the line cleanly. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference just the appearance of professionalism, the appearance of like, you got this. You know what I mean? If you're nervous, obviously we all get that way.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between, single camera table reads and multicam table reads. It's a totally different beast. I like
prefer
sitting
single
back.
camera. Go ahead.
So do I. But look where it got me.
I've experienced multicam just from observation, and it's great. It's a fun environment to see and hear it, and I get being a part of it, which is a really cool thing to put yourself in, and you feel the vibe and that rhythm. With single camera, it's a little bit different. I feel like it's more for the writers because they want to make sure things are landing, and even though it's not jokey as multicam is, they still rely on the joke. So speaking clearly, knowing what the script is and everything like that, but getting to sit back and hear it and watch it, I start seeing things in my head is for blocking.
Right.
Like I start getting into my prep work, you know what I mean? So I'm listening to it from a different standpoint in single cam, but because I feel like if I'm not,
That's the disadvantage for me.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's weird. I feel like it's like
look at
thinking with the other, like I have to turn my brain thinking of multicam a little bit, but that's just me in my approach. But
Yeah.
it's just
Because I have to prep for that. I have to prep for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
performance.
yeah, and the thing too is it's also a timing thing.
Yes.
In single camera comedies, like, you got the script supervisor there who's timing it out because they got to make sure that this is going to be such and such amount of time and we got to
laugh
shave off
spread and
pages
all
or
this.
whatever. Exactly. So for them, it's like, and then they always have the same reader read it for single cam is usually how it's been for me. And it's
like the first AD?
no, sometimes it's a writer.
One of the EPs maybe, or
Or the EP, yeah. And it just gives them the consistency to know that, like, this voice is saying the description lines and stuff like that and slug lines. And the actors know and are familiar with that. So I feel like for single camera, it helps to move things along and just hearing the same voice do it over and over again.
Right.
And then to get the timing to make sure that that's correct. So it serves two different purposes, and it's just a different beast in that respect.
Yeah.
So a lot of times as actors, we get a note on set. Got it. We don't want to take up space. We don't take up time as a co-star. We do the scene. We don't got it. It did not. Don't got it. How do you, once we are now as actors already in our head, how do you connect with your actor with so much going on around them, resetting, everything like that, and like just hone in and give that note again?
This
That was a wind up.
I'm ready. I really think this is where the any hangout time you've had before
Yes.
makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? 5 minutes, like making a cup of tea in the morning at Crafty or whatever it is. Like any hang time, because it's about just being able to jam together in a creative space, in a vulnerable space. Your job is fun. I mean, all of ours, but actors, the job is weird, right? You've got to do this thing and be this way in front of a crew of 30 people who are sort of impassively standing this close to you, right? Mm-hmm. The hang time is invaluable, I think. If you can just be like, just spend a few minutes with the director, like walk over to Village. Like, I would like to hang out with you. I usually have like 100 questions coming at me every 5 seconds. But like, come hang out. Let's talk about this scene.
But a lot of actors don't know to do that.
That's why I'm saying it now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do that. It's imperative for both of us.
Yeah. There's no like sort of wall between here and
That's
there.
right.
I mean, y'all can come up on stage and ask her questions.
That's right.
Like,
I'm the type of director that likes to do code words. Like today, I had a wonderful, wonderful actor. He was standing in for Kevin Pollak, who wasn't there. And he was like, I really just want to give this performance for the run through. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give you some code words before we go in. He's like, okay, like what? I was like, well, if I say more swag, give me swaggy. He understood what that was. So just pumping them up in those moments and making them aware that you can stretch. You can breathe through this. The married thing, I understand it because he was so in his head about what he wanted to do for rehearsal. And I was like, you have a whole range of things. You're talented. Let's go. So give me swag, give me attitude. And so just pumping them up and just making sure that they are aware of their bodies and their talent.
So wait a minute. You're
What?
saying more swag is code for more swag?
Yep. Give me more swag than that. If I say swagalicious, that means lay it all the way down.
I really thought you were going to say,
If I say
more
delicious,
swag,
they'll be like, oh, sexy.
don't
Yep.
do anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Little code things.
Yeah. Well, very often also, I think coverage-wise, we're not starting on a co-star. We're starting with it wide anyway,
Right.
or like at least
You're
on
starting
someone.
in the mass.
I am, or if I have to start on someone, I'm going to start on someone who is a regular on the show,
Right.
So that you, the co-star, get a whole bunch of extra runs at it. We're already
Yes.
starting to hear what it's like for you. Like we're over here
Yes.
on whoever this is.
Yes.
You've done it. You've done it again. I will sometimes talk notes at this point already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cool. We're on you. We'll here.
Right.
Don't feel weird that you're getting a note while we're not on you. The point is to talk about the scene and see what's working.
Right.
That
So
way, when
the
we
next
get on
time,
you,
that's
then it's
right.
like, yeah.
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 Like you got it.
I say that part of the director's job too is being able to communicate efficiently and effectively. And sometimes a note comes in and it might be like, oh yeah, I got it, and then don't got it. It happens. But again, it could be just a misunderstanding. It maybe just didn't click. So I try to use different ways of if I notice that it's not clicking, I try to speak a different language for that actor.
That's right.
And it's just something that, as far as how we work with so many different personality types, it's like you just kind of have stuff in your wheelhouse on how to talk to different people, because not everybody's going to respond to blue or yellow or orange. You know what I mean? Like it's all different. So I try to keep that in my director.
So what happens when you
Rolodex.
give a note, when you give a note and the actor just doesn't have it? Like the actor just does not, and if you've done it 3 times.
I did a scene I don't know, a while ago with someone who had a great audition, and it was day playing in this episode, and was with sort of like Academy Award-winning actor sitting next to him.
Sort of Academy Award? What sort of mean?
This is how I was talking to him.
Okay.
And he got very, very nervous. Completely locked up.
Oh.
Like he completely locked up, and he had like 3 lines, and they weren't big, and they were all gone. And we tried it, and the cast was very supportive. Everyone's very supportive. We're still rolling. We'll go again. Like we could just do this one line, and some just cut. Let's talk about it. You know, and he was like freaking out a bit.
Just not there.
Yeah. Yep. So I was like, okay, and not there's no shame in it. We just wrote cue cards for him and held them right here next to the camera.
Great.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a
It's like,
good
what can you do?
solution.
Because we don't want
That's great.
you start feeling like, oh no, I'm slowing down this like $5 million production. It's like, no, you're fine.
Because you don't want anyone to leave at all. We don't want y'all to go. We want.
No, don't leave.
And don't want to add pressure to
We don't.
No, it's
to the
hard
pressure
enough.
cooker. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So it's like, how do you alleviate
We're
that
like
pressure?
the conduit between
Exactly.
between you guys and the powers that be.
Yeah, and the powers that be, we're having that conversation on
Yes.
how to how
On
do
your
we mitigate
behalf.
this and how do we handle it, and
Right.
doing the cue card, that's a great solution.
That's great.
Or it's like, okay, do we have a different line?
Right.
And it's like, and then I mean, we all hate the
I know.
line readings. I hate to even say it.
I know.
That's like last resort. I've only had to.
That's
do
the
that,
last. I just say,
1 or 2 times, and I.
can I say it like how I would say it?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, how would you say it?
But if there's a struggle, it's always welcomed.
Yeah.
If there's a struggle, it's welcomed. It's like
is.
because it's like I don't lead with that. I
But that's
like,
the last thing.
exactly. I'm like, I hate doing this because this is not my thing.
Right.
But and.
And it's hard too,
just
because you're right. You can get very in your head, not from like deep experience, but I acted in a student film like a long time
You
ago.
did?
And
In Lower Marion?
no, it was in
Oh.
film school.
Where's
and I
the
had,
link for this?
I had one line. I remember it's stuck in my head. You think about it again, you would things that you're embarrassed about that no one else remembers, but I remember it. I remember the line. It was very short. I was like, "Oh, waiter," and my line was they asked a question about the food or whatever, and my line was, "It's marinated, sir, in barbecue sauce." But for whatever reason, apparently, and I didn't realize I was doing this, I kept saying, "It's barbecued, sir, in marinara sauce."
That's what your brain did?
And so maybe after
You beat me. You beat
maybe
me.
after 2 takes, the director, it was like a friend of mine, we're like in school together. It was like, "Hey, so the line is actually this." I'm like, "That's what I said." And they're like, "No, that's not what you said." I'm like, "Huh? Did it?" I mean, I just take after take after take of me
You
just
just
doing it
married to
wrong.
that.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, I guess I've never really barbecued marinara sauce.
I like
Marinate stuff in barbecue sauce when you
I
could
like
also
it.
do it anyway. Yeah. So it's easy to get in your head about stuff, not realize what's going on. You know what I mean? Ideally, you just have a moment to like break from it. Changing a line is a great solution to this.
Yeah.
Changing 2 words breaks you like from your.
And I've
psyche.
suggested
You're
as a
stuck on
director,
that.
I've suggested
Yeah,
to like the
exactly.
writer team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
It
a
is.
line. Yeah.
It breaks it from being like stuck in
That's
this
right.
mode, and it's just like, no, it could be
That's
a
right.
million other things.
That's
Let's
right.
just recreate that, and
Right.
Yes.
it winds up being.
I wish
more
they had
successful.
changed that line for me, but
That's okay.
You have the
Okay,
story to
Freddie.
tell now. This is perfect for us, though. See,
that's why I did it.
see.
It is giving first IMDb credit. That is what it's
Yeah.
giving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we open it up to questions, I wanted to ask if there was one thing you could go back and tell your younger creative self, what would it be?
You don't marinate stuff in barbecue.
I mean, honestly, try to beat that, gals.
Say the question again.
What's one thing you wish you could go back and tell your younger creative self?
Oh, I'm just going to say it
Yeah.
for all of us. It's all going to work out. It's all going to be wonderful. This is your journey. This is unique to you. I should have been wearing this mohawk when I was 17, 18 years old. I should have wore it then. You are fierce, and it's all going to work out. All of it. Just keep going.
I would have never said that to my
What?
No. Young me would have taken my foot off the gas and been like, "Great." Why am I trying? Why am I working all these crazy hours? Why am I like working on these terrible shows that I hate
What would
working
you say to young you?
on? I don't know. You were gonna go next.
No, you weren't.
No, it's your
No,
turn.
we were going that
No,
way.
you're in the middle.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
Yeah, I can
You're the
see that.
cheese.
I feel.
Come
Trust
on.
me, I feel that way.
Go cheese.
I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that I wish I had been a better listener early. I think I asked as an editor. I didn't realize this at the beginning, right? But like one of the things that happens is that you are in the room one-on-one with the directors of things, the producers of things, the agents on things, the studio execs on things. You develop a one-on-one relationship with these people, and I used to tap every one of these people on the shoulder, starting from the very beginning, about like, we have all these problems with all this footage. We wouldn't have had these problems if I had directed it. This started to work, incredibly. It really started to work. And then, it just, many more years of that, it works. It turns out it worked. So, but I think listening and understanding situations and not trying to do too much. I think I had a sense I was going to meetings or being very performative about how I thought I was supposed to be. Instead of just like kind of being like, I would have, look, 15 years ago, me on this panel would have sat here and answered all the questions.
And did you have more fun tonight?
Yeah, we're not done. But also I would have I would have said this thing that I felt like I read in the book somewhere, and like, what? That's like dumb. The whole point of going and doing any of this, the reason that everyone has gone to the trouble of showing up tonight, but like living in this like fire and brimstone city and like, paying dues and like literally paying dues and also like emotionally paying dues is to do a thing that you felt very strongly about. You know what I mean? It's very easy to stray from that and be like, well, I've got to do this thing, and now I work this job, and I've got to send this self-tape in, and like, fuck. Like, the whole reason to do it is back there in, for you 5, 10, 20 years ago. Right. Like, and I think it's easy to lose sight of and remember that this is supposed to be fun and that you came here to do a thing that you thought you could do better than anybody else. And the fact is that all of us, each of us, can do a certain thing better than anybody else, and that thing is just to be ourselves. Right. Now, other people may not like that thing, and then that's, how your career ends.
You would tell a lot to yourself. You would tell a lot to your younger self.
Yeah, but younger me also wouldn't have listened. So
really?
Yeah.
You'd be sitting there talking?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really good.
Thanks.
It was inspiring.
Thanks. It was it's hard. It's fucking hard. It's not easy at all.
It's fucking hard.
It's not remotely easy.
That's right.
Talk about like, it was literally 20 years until I went full-time directing and stopped cutting. It was 18 years until I won an Emmy after 18 years.
How old are you? Damn, let me look real close now. I need to look over here now. Okay.
Who can really say how old anybody is?
I'm just...
His
It's
playable
on
age.
my IMDb.
It's impressive.
I just turned 50, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo. That's what's up.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thanks. The birthday party got rained out by the fire.
That's okay.
It's okay. We'll make it up.
We're
at some
celebrating
point.
right now.
Is that what this
talking
is?
about?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a couple- yeah. It's hard. It takes a long fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes a long time. People like leave town or leave the industry, and for many, many good reasons within 1 year, 2 years, 5 years.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
I think it's real easy to look at like people who succeeded and be like, oh, they just like made it. You know what I mean?
What did Samuel Jackson say? It took 10 years to get what? What did he say?
I don't know.
Who said that? Say it. Yes. Yeah. And that's just one person. Yeah.
It's like not remotely an easy thing.
No.
Like,
10,000 hours for us, it says.
You can't beat yourself up over it like taking a long time.
That's right.
No, everybody's journey is what
That's
it
right.
is, and you're gonna go where you're gonna go, and as you go, and it's okay.
But
I think that's part of it too. I think that's the message to younger self. It's like it's
Yeah.
okay to be where you are right now, or it doesn't. There's no timetable.
Yeah, that's
on
okay.
anybody. It's okay.
That's
like you're gonna
okay.
get there. It's just gonna be what it is until you get there. But
That's right.
enjoy the journey.
But
on
you're
the way.
building. You're
Exactly.
building.
You got to enjoy it on the way. I
That's
would
right.
like there's a set persona you think you're supposed to have because it's like I'm doing this, and it's like just be you, go on your journey, and just have fun doing it.
That's
that's
right.
all there is.
Build your village.
But also, counterpoint. I would also say one last thing, which is that if you're finding that it's not working after a while, you have to do something different.
Yes, pivot.
Yeah.
I don't mean quit careers, but I mean your approach is not working. And
Right.
You have to do something different.
I mean, that's what I did.
I've done it too.
Yeah, we've all done it. Yeah.
Many times.
And there's nothing wrong with
Many
that.
times.
Over, yeah, because I'm like, this isn't working. I'm like the supervising editor on this like Fox reality show.
Yeah, right.
This is not what I wanted to do
Right.
at all.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I just stopped doing it.
Me too. I did the same thing.
You were cutting reality shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
You should have led with that too.
You're so crazy.
All right, before we open it up to questions, will you all please join me in thanking this incredible panel?